Hello everyone and welcome to our battery test of the new iPhone 12 and iPhone 12 Pro, where we test the battery on the new iPhones and compare it against last year's iPhone 11, iPhone 11 Pro, as well as two of the most popular Android phones out there, the Google Pixel 5 and the Samsung Galaxy S20 FE or Fan Edition. My name is Vic, and this comparison will go in 3 rounds, where in each round we drain the battery of the phones completely with one specific task. So we have all 6 phones fully charged up and ready to go. All the phones are at 100%, and we have also set the brightness to the same level on all phones, so the conditions are equal. And here's first a quick rundown of the specs. The iPhone 11 has a 3110 mAh battery, and the iPhone 11 Pro has a slightly smaller battery at 3046 mAh. Then the two new iPhones, the iPhone 12 and iPhone 12 Pro, have the same 6.1-inch display and the same 2815 mAh battery, which is actually smaller than on last year's models, and that's very interesting. Next up, our two Android phones have much bigger batteries than the iPhones. The Galaxy S20 FE is equipped with a 4500 mAh battery, around 50% bigger battery cell than on the iPhones, and the Google Pixel 5 features a 4080 mAh battery. So with this in mind, we have already started running our first test, web browsing and scrolling. All 6 phones run the same set of web pages at the same pace, so the conditions are absolutely identical. We're not showing you the full test in real time since it runs long hours, but instead you see an illustration to get an idea how we test. Let's fast forward the tape until the first phone gets its battery depleted, and interestingly, it is the iPhone 11 Pro from last year. At exactly 8 hours and 41 minutes after the beginning of the test, the 11 Pro dies. The other phones keep on going for a couple more hours, so there's definitely a big gap between the 11 Pro and the rest. So let's fast forward again, and the next phone to bite the dust is the iPhone 11. It checks out at exactly 11 hours and 26 minutes, which is a much better score. Still, the other 4 phones have juice left, and fast forward again. So let's see which phone is the next one to die. And that is the Samsung Galaxy S20 FE, some 12 hours and 28 minutes after the beginning of the test. This is a very solid result, and the rest of the phones are almost dead at this point as well. So just 5 minutes after the S20 FE, we see the iPhone 12 bite the dust, and just as we speak, just 2 minutes after the iPhone 12, the iPhone 12 Pro also dies, so the iPhone 12 ends with a score of 12 hours and 33 minutes, and you have 12 hours and 35 minutes for the Pro. This once again confirms that in terms of battery life, there's practically no difference between the 12 and the 12 Pro. Finally, we have just one phone left, and it lasts a full 5 minutes more until it finally bites the dust, and that's the Google Pixel 5, which wins this round. Still, those are tiny differences, and for what it matters, the iPhone 12 series, the Pixel 5 and the Galaxy S20 FE have very similar results in web browsing. Not a bad showing for the iPhones in round 1. Even with the smaller batteries, they're doing a good job in this lightest of tests. Take a look at this chart where we show you the score for each phone, and you will also see that if you run the S20 FE in 120Hz mode, you get a slightly lower score for that phone, so the higher refresh rate does tax the battery more, and the same goes for the Pixel 5 running at 90Hz. Okay, let's keep on going with the next test. We have all phones fully charged, and now let's open up YouTube, and you're already seeing the same playlist of videos running on all of the phones at the same time and in the same order. Again, we're showing you an illustration of what the test looks like, but not the full run in real time since it takes very long hours. With this in mind, let's fast things forward to see which phone will be the first to die here, and it's the iPhone 11 Pro again. The phone dies 6 hours and 27 minutes after the beginning of the test. iPhones are notoriously bad at YouTube video streaming battery life, so if you watch a lot of videos, the iPhones are not the best option for you. Now fast forward, and the next phone to die is the iPhone 12. it has run for 6 hours and 38 minutes, not much more than the 11 Pro. And the iPhone 12 Pro is also just about to die, but lasts a few minutes more, so fast forward and it takes 6 hours and 48 minutes for the 12 Pro to also bite the dust. Interestingly, last year's iPhone 11 still has some juice left and lasts the longest of all iPhones. Let's wait a bit more until finally it also dies with 7 hours and 13 minutes on the clock. But the truth is, there is very little difference between the iPhones, all of them just drain very quickly when streaming YouTube videos. The Pixel 5 and Galaxy S20 FE still have plenty of gas left in the tank, and we need to fast forward for more than an hour, so actually the next phone to bite the dust is the Pixel 5 with a score of 8 hours and 49 minutes. Great showing by the compact Pixel, which beats the iPhones. And this leaves the only phone still standing to be the Galaxy S20 FE. The FE is a surprise hit for Samsung this year. The phone is not crazy expensive at just $700, yet features a flagship processor and a 120Hz fast refresh rate screen and a good camera. And it also lasts a long time. It finally dies with 9 hours and 9 minutes on the clock and gets the win in this round. And once again, here are the results for all the phones in this test. The iPhones last lowest, then you have the Pixel 5, and finally the Galaxy S20 FE is the winner. Okay, time for our last test, 3D gaming. This is our most intense test, where you have both the CPU and the GPU of the phones running hot to render those pretty graphics on intense games. Once again, let's start the test from scratch, all phones fully charged up, and fast forward the action until one of them dies. And guess what? It's the iPhone 12 this time around, and just very shortly after it, the iPhone 12 Pro. What a surprise! The two new iPhones do shockingly bad for 3D gaming. They last just about 3 hours. That is the worst score we have ever seen on our 3D gaming test, and we have run this on a lot of phones in the past few years. By the way, you can find the link to all of our test results with many more phones in the description to this video, so check that out. Anyway, there seems to be some big problem with the new Apple A14 chip inside these iPhones. It's just not okay to have a phone die in just 3 hours. We have tried gaming with multiple 3D games and we are getting the same poor results. For example, in Call of Duty Mobile, the phone battery just drains very quickly. Anyway, let's keep on going, and we have to wait a whole 2 hours until the next phone dies. That's how bad the new iPhones are when it comes to gaming and battery life. So next one to bite the dust is the Google Pixel 5 with a score of 5 hours and 6 minutes. Definitely not great, but still a lot better than the iPhone 12 series. Okay, with just a few phones left, who will win this round? We again have to wait an hour and a half for the next phone to die. So fast forward time, and the next one to die is the iPhone 11 Pro with a score of 6 hours and 38 minutes. Now that's a decent showing, and that's kind of what you expect from a phone. Still, we have two phones running, so once again, go fast motion until finally the next phone dies, and that's the iPhone 11. It gives up at 7 hours and 37 minutes. That's a very solid result. But one phone still keeps on going, and it is the best choice for gamers who want a true mobile experience without worrying about battery life. That phone is the Samsung Galaxy S20 FE. It scores 8 hours and 29 minutes, lasting nearly 3 times longer than the iPhones. What an interesting third round, and what shocking results. Once again, let's recap the scores. Very poor showing by the iPhone 12 family, and then a big win for the Galaxy S20 FE. And there you have it, guys, the iPhone 12 and iPhone 12 Pro battery life. Just using these phones, we found they will last just okay for regular use. Actually, browsing the web, social media and texting, battery life for those things is good. But if you start watching a lot of videos, the battery life is definitely below average. And then if you play games like Call of Duty Mobile or PUBG on an iPhone 12, you will be hugely disappointed with the battery life, at least the way it is right now at launch time. Battery life just melts like crazy, We hope that's something that Apple can address with a future software update, but right now the situation is not really good. We're also shocked that the new iPhones actually last less than last year's iPhones in some of the tests, but it is what it is. Anyway, the Samsung Galaxy S20 FE emerges as the big winner in this comparison. It's the cheapest phone of the bunch, as you can easily find deals on it for under $600, and its battery lasts a very long time in all sorts of use. The Pixel 5 also impresses in lighter use like browsing and social media, but heavier use like gaming also drains its battery pretty quickly. Still, its battery life is a huge upgrade from last year's Pixel 4. And at that, let's call it a wrap. What do you think about the battery life on the new iPhones and how it compares to rivals? And do you care about that low score for gaming? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and thanks for watching. My name is Vic, this is Phone Arena, and I'll see you in the next one.